So we're starting with some hand sanitizer. And today we're going to do kind of a rock and roll look on Emily, using all of Dinaire's products. We're going to start with some concealer. It's almost impossible to get all the way up to the eye with the airbrush without blowing too much air in the eye. So we're going to do traditional. Look up. And make sure that you don't go below the orbital bone. You don't want the traditional concealer and airbrush foundation to mix together. So you want to stay above the orbital. Just a little bit. You look like you're going to water. You're right. If your client starts to water, just take a little tissue. Right?
Yeah, I was laughing.
She's laughing. Those are laughing tears. Okay, then we want to start, check out this, assess the skin and see if there's any pores. She has just a little bit of pores, so we're going to use a pore filler. Actually, it's called Perfect Skin by Denaire. Okay, we're going to start with some pore filler. You want to assess the skin first and see if we have any enlarged pores or any fine lines. You definitely want to use a filler. Because the airbrush is sprayed on like little tiny dots, little pixels, it's not going to act like a brick and mortar. So we want to make sure we fill in anything that may need a little bit of filler. And just dab in the concealer again. Okay, pretty nice skin here. Youthful, can't complain. Okay, so now we're going to start, and now that we've put our pore filler on, we're going to put a little bit of anti-shine. This will help with any midday oil. And also, it helps with not creating a crease in the eye, because our lids tend to get really oily. So I like to use it on the eyelids as well. But you can see how right away it just really mats the skin. Takes out any shine that may be appearing. Okay, then after that we're going to start with our airbrush. So obviously turn on your machine, make sure it's plugged in, the hose is attached correctly. You always want to start with a cleaner so that you make sure there's no residue and there's no clogs. And then I'm going to just, typically when I assess what color the skin I'm going to apply in the skin, I look at the chest because typically our chest, our neck, and our face are 3 different colors. So I try and match up with the chest. So I'm going to go a little bit darker. Start with dark golden beige and maybe a drop of honey beige. Make sure to always shake your bottles. And of course, when you want to mix, you want to pull back, put all the colors that you're looking to mix, put your finger over the nozzle and pull back till you see bubbles. You always want to start on the jawline just in case it's not quite the color you were looking for. Okay. So you want to zero in on any imperfections. So we're going to get really close and just gently pull back. I tend to jog my trigger back in order to get more or less of the product desired. I also suggest starting with a point of interest and kind of following around so that you don't continue to go over the same area, because it's sprayed on so light, it is easy to overspray, thinking that you didn't get that area enough, or maybe that you need to go over it one more time. Okay, we need to add a little bit more product. It's always better to add than have waste. Again, I'm using dark golden beige and a little bit of honey beige. Pull back to mix. Always spray a little color onto your paper towel so so that you can make sure it's the color you were looking for. You may want to check with your client and make sure they're not overwhelmed by the spray periodically. You also want to make sure that you spray down. We tend to have, most women have facial hair, and so by spraying up, you're going to have the hair stand up, so make sure that when you're spraying down. Again, a little bit more. I'm going to go back through and just look at any imperfections that I may have missed. Make sure that I have full coverage. And the nice thing about Airbrush is that you can have full coverage, you can have a nice sheer coverage, heavy coverage. If clients have freckles they don't want seen, you can get rid of freckles, imperfections, hyperpigmentation, discoloration. Lift your neck up. Make sure that the neckline matches. Again, our neck tends to be a little bit lighter usually than our face. Okay, you can relax. And so with the foundation that I have left, we're going to go ahead and leave it in there. We don't need to spray it out because we're going to mix our contouring color with it. I'm going to use some Egyptian bronze. Typically when you contour, you want to use a shade 3 shades darker, or a color 3 shades darker. Go ahead and mix till you get some bubbles, and then make sure that you again spray on a paper towel so that you can make sure this is the color you were looking for. Now we're going to go ahead and contour, and basically what you want to think about with contouring, of course you can do lots of things with contouring, and I suggest you getting some more literature or watching more videos on how to truly contour all types of different faces. You can slim the nose, you can bring the forehead down, there's lots of things you can do, but today we're just going to do a basic contour, and you can think of the number 3. So we kind of want to do the number 3 and then the letter E. That's what we're going to do on both sides. So again, I'm using a shade that's a little darker. I'm using Egyptian bronze. And then here's the bottom of my 3. Gives you a nice slim jawline. You're going to do the same thing on this side. And for those of you that are wondering where my regulator is for my airflow, I'm at about 1 o'clock. Just going to refill a little bit. Okay, and I also like to slim the nose a little bit, so I'm going to do both sides of the nose. I think we're good with contouring. Okay, so again, we're going to keep our remnants of foundation and our contour color, because I'm going to mix some mauve in, just a drop or two. But because it's so pigmented, you really want to make sure that you do have some foundation color left in there. And if not, just add some more. Again, spray on the paper towel just to make sure that it's the color you want. I usually have my clients smile, or they can laugh. Just so you can see the apple of their cheek. We just want a little bit of pink. And then go ahead and spray out whatever it is you have left over. Unless you plan to use this color on the eyelids, you want to go ahead and start fresh. Okay, so we're going to start with some eyeshadow base. We'll do the eyebrows after in case we have some overspray. But you want to make sure that you turn your regulator down to probably 9, 10, maybe maximum 11 o'clock. Just depending on your compressor how loose the regulator is. And you really want to get nice and close. It's okay if there's a little overspray with the color I'm using. I'm using Barely Pink. I'm okay if there's a little extra shimmer because I'm going to use it as a highlighter. But if not, you can use your eyeshadow guard. And you just want to do little spritz. Once you've covered the entire lid with the Barely Pink, go ahead and just do a little bit down the center of the nose to give a highlight, right in the middle of the forehead, down on the chin just a little bit, whatever extra you have left over. Okay, and then go ahead and spray out any residue from the Barely Pink. And then we're going to start with the eyebrow stencil.